To John.
Glory to you, O Lord.
There was a man sent from God, whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. This was the testimony given by John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny it, but confessed, "I am not Messiah." And when they asked him, "Well, then, are you Elijah?" he said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" He answered, "No." Then they said to him, "Who are you? Let us have an answer for those who sent us. What do you say about yourself?" He said, "I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness, 'Make straight the way of the Lord,' as the prophet Isaiah said." Now they had been sent from the Pharisees, and they asked him, "Why then are you baptizing if you are neither the Messiah, nor Elijah, nor a prophet?" John answered them, "I baptize with water. Among you stands one whom you do not know, the one who is coming after me. I am not worthy to untie the thong of his sandal." This took place in Bethany, across the Jordan, where John was baptizing. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, O Christ.
Okay, I'm going to need some people, little people if you can, to help me. There's a couple of shepherds around, I believe, in the windows. Ben, would you like to find a shepherd? Maybe Lucy could find one too. James, you could go the other way. You can find the shepherds over here.
Ben's not cooperating.
Here the mom. There's Erin. You don't have to stay for this whole time, Erin, but you should take these with you, one for each. All right, James, this is for you. I'm going to take one. You don't go anywhere, James. Stay here. All right, you got a plan. Can you put your finger, one of your fingers in there? Can you put one of your fingers in? Good. Okay, so I think come on up here next to me. I think one of the big things that I heard today, that I heard John say in, let me come on up here, is that John, the baptizer, who was really more of a witness, he kept saying, "I testify to the light." Who was the light? What do you think? Say it. The flame. The flame is the light, but who was the light? What was John saying this time? Say it again. Say it louder. Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. Jesus is the light. Now, Jesus is the first light. Jesus gave us the light so that we could pass the light to others. And when we pass the light to others, they feel good. They feel happy. They smile. So I want to prove a point. I want the three of us to go out, and we're going to shine the light in people's faces and see if they smile. All right? So you go that side. You go that side. I'll get some in the middle. All right? Well, if you don't smile at Jesus, that's over here. See that? Then you have a light. moms in here. Oh, I got a lot of smiles. James, did you get some good smiles? All right. How about you, Ty? Tyler's like, right at you. All right. You may take your seat. Thank you very much for being the light of Christ. And we have some extra candles here, so you two moms back there, Genevieve and Caitlin, if you want to take some lights back to your children, you may. Thank you so much. For years, when I was at Corpus Christi doing youth ministry, we would take kids for a week in the summer down somewhere to sometimes Pennsylvania, sometimes Virginia, sometimes West Virginia. And one of the years when we went, there was a chaperone who was a caver. And so she suggested that we go caving. And I had never been caving. So we were told we had to wear hard hats. And we were told to bring a sweater or a sweatshirt, because despite the fact that it was in the 90s outside, it would be in about the, 60s, maybe 70s, down into the earth. So we all got ready, we hiked down, and down and down and down, and we were seeing the drips that drip up, and the drips that drip down. And there are names for them, I don't know those names, but I was fascinated.
Stalactites and stalagmites.
I am so impressed. There we go. Stalactites and
Stalactites and stalagmites.
mites is the other one. You're also smart. So anyway, I was fascinated with them. But what I was so fascinated with is at one point they turned the lights off. And they turned their lights off on their hats as well. So we were in such pitch black darkness. I couldn't see anything and my eyes would not adjust. And they reminded me that my eyes would not adjust because there was no light coming from anywhere. And it helped me appreciate the light that we have in this world, even on a day that's as cloudy as today. Even in the middle of the night, like when I have to get up and go to the bathroom, I still can make my way because there's sunlight, whether it's coming from a street lamp outside, the moon, some stars, there's sunlight that is coming in. This is the season, because the days are growing shorter, that so many faith communities celebrate the light. Hanukkah has its lights, the Hindus have Diwali, the Feast of Lights. People of African descent celebrate Kwanzaa with their lights. We have the lights of Advent, and we also have the great light of Christmas, Jesus Christ. And we celebrate Christ as the light of the world because Jesus has always been that light and always will be. And in the Gospel of John, at the very beginning, we hear that. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. That Word meaning Jesus. Christ is the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, always was and always will be. Our light did not come at some point in history, but our light created history. And so John, today, in today's gospel, testifies to that light. We hear that in verse 8. He came as a witness to testify to the light. John was aware that he was not the great one, even though everybody was coming to him to be baptized. He kept everything in check. And John went on to say, I baptize with water, but among you stands one you do not know, one who is coming after me, and I'm not worthy to tie the strap of his sandal. And this one who was to come would do exactly what Isaiah prophesied that we heard in the first lesson. And Jesus spoke those words in the temple when he was captives, release to prisoners, to proclaim a year of the Lord, to comfort those who mourn, to give garland instead of ashes. Garland. So many of us decorate our houses with garland because it's joyful, rather than the ashes that start that season of Lent. And the oil of gladness. He is there to bring the oil of gladness rather than of mourning. But this great one, this wonderful Christ, who we have as our light, brings the ways of God to earth. To hear the cries of the poor, to try to make things right, to listen to those who mourn and cry, to attend to the oppressed and the beaten down, to hear and comfort those who lament a life of woe. This divine human, whose birth we will celebrate next week, is the most magnificent light humanity will ever know. And Jesus did not keep the light to himself, but he shared it. He sent his disciples out to be the light, and gave them and us marching orders to share this light with all nations, baptizing in the name of the Trinity, and knowing, Jesus said, know that I am with you always. Our light, Jesus Christ, lights up each one of us. We then become beacons of light for others. There are a lot of Christians in the world. Those who go to church, those who don't, those of all different stripes, all the different denominations that we are, those who are born and baptized, those who are born again. Christians are everywhere, and we need to share the light, to brighten this world, to be the good news that God came to free us and be with us. Of all the faith traditions in the world, our God came to earth. That is huge. We have so much to celebrate. Baptized and welcomed into the community of faith, nourished by the Word and the Eucharist, we are indeed, and can be indeed, light for the world. Now go and make disciples of all nations. Be that light. Show the light. Share the light. Pointing people to the true light